Hello everybody, this is just to show more aspects of vandalism to our property that we're constantly going through. This here is a skid track. It's like a little mini bobcat. I used it, I keep everything in good working order. Here, I don't know, a couple months ago I used it, everything was fine. The other day I had to fill in some holes and do some leveling and haul a lot of dirt. So I got in this thing and driving it around, I come to find that all the mounting bolts for this cab, the cab that holds you in there and keeps you safe, were missing from the cab. It was just bouncing around, rocking, nearly coming off. Anybody knows these things, when you drive them around, they bounce, they move, one thing or another. They're very frigidy. They got a lot of torque, a lot of power in hydraulics, and carry a lot of weight. But anyway, all the mounting bolts for the cage were taken out and missing. I had to go get some more bolts. They're not the right kind for this, but they'll work until I can get them, and place them in the mounting brackets of the frame. It's got 4 of them, 2 on each side in the front, and then here in the back of the machine, you won't be able to see this very well, but up here it's got 2 more for the back of the cab that mount this and hold this on there as you're running around in these things. But the bolts are missing, so I still got to come up with 2 more to put in this, just to keep it safe and working. You know, this shit really gets fucking old. And we are in a fenced-in property. Everybody knows that. We got a fence all the way around our yard. We've caught them in our yards. This always takes place at night. Sometimes during the day if we're not home at our residence. But it's a constant issue that we're ongoing. You know, even with our vehicles, you know, I don't even think my wife had her car a week here a couple years ago. And while I was parked in our yard, and they did the same to my truck, they took their keys and ran it the full length of the vehicle inside the yard, inside our gated community. We got no trespass signs up, always have had them up. Now we got beware of dog signs, because we got some blue heelers, and Mr. Newt, nothing gets past him. You know, he is probably the best, excellent dog or guard dog or companion that anybody can have. Very skeptical about any and everybody, and he doesn't make friends lightly. So, I don't know. The bright side about the dogs, it doesn't stop these crimes. And we're not going to endanger our dogs, even if we know they're outside on our property. They've just eliminated too many of our animals. But, you know, for the first time in probably about 20, 30 years, we can now walk outside, not having to lock our doors, even though our mothers and other people may be in the house. But we could go outside and leave our dogs inside and not worry about anything. Anybody getting into our homes unseen or one thing or another, which we have had great issues with in the past. That, or if we're outside in the yard, between both of our healers, nobody dare gets on this property, not if they're outside. You know, so it is more comforting to know that we can actually step outside of our house and not have to fucking lock the door. But it's still very unnerving that we've been subjected to this. You know, they've over the years, they've robbed us blind, destroyed tons of our crap, That vehicle right there. That is the same one that my wife videotaped and recorded out here the other day. He does not live in our neighborhood or anywhere in this vicinity, but it keeps coming out right here around the block. There's a house next to us and a street that comes this way. We are in kind of a segregated part of town. There's only two ways into it. Three. One, straight down this road, and then it goes into out of city limits and then into Liberty Lake. The other way is about 6 blocks up. You can come down around the post office and then in back roads and come out right here on the same street. Or they can cut in anywhere on 3 blocks up the road and do the same thing, just coming in and around. But that is the same individual. Every day when I come outside, I'm finding him out here. Sometimes he's dressed in solid black like he was that day during my live video feed. And he was bald. If you notice in the picture, he was bald there. This gentleman now looks like he's got hair or something on, and he's driving by our house. The other day he was in a suit, blue collar. Driving by today, it looked like more average clothing. These are the motherfuckers that are doing these crimes against us. It's not citizens. You know, every time we post something or make reference to these incidences, everybody's trying to tell us, oh, it's the kids, it's the neighborhood kids and all this other stuff. No, it's not. Believe me, they don't really walk near our yard. And most all of them around here are decent, honorable, respectful. There's not a super lot of kids in this area. Most of them are young in use. I'm talking like maybe 3 to 7 years old is the primary age. Maybe a couple dozen older kids that live in this area that come and go to school. But they are not the ones that are committing these crimes. Nor do they have the manpower, the tools, you know, or the smarts to even do anything like this. You know, and doing that to the skid cat could have caused a serious injury. Even fatality. Hit a bump or move the bucket with too much weight in it, rocking the machine. Could have caused that whole cab to come right off. Not counting expenses, time out of machinery where you got to go out and find new parts, new bolts, and accommodate your equipment. But even damages to your vehicles, your tires that are ongoing and consistent as well. Campers, one thing or another. You know, and if kids and shit were doing these crimes, you know, there'd be more than evidence and they'd always be showing up on our cameras. It's not them. So I just want to let this known, you know, and to keep you updated on the bullshit we are subjected to. And then again, you know, we turn all this stuff in to legal teams and everything else, and then they're refusing to do anything. Even when they see them, they see these people on our rooftops or buildings using electronic weapons, you know, during the night hours and even the day hours sometimes. Other times it's nighttime and they're actually physically on our yards, or they're breaking into our buildings, our shops, dismantling our vehicles and or stealing items, tools, equipment that are freshly bought, needed for jobs, that we're constantly having to replace. We got a full-time sprinkler system in our yard. And so far, out of the 4 years we've lived here, they disabled them 3 times. Some of the sprinklers are laid up underneath the cement in our driveway, where they personally got drills, long drills with drill bits, I don't know, probably 1.5 feet long, drilled down next to the sprinklers in the cement where they're located, and punctured holes into the water lines. Just drilling holes in them, causing leaks and everything else that we'd have to rebuild. Our ground is nothing but bedrock, so it's not easy to get through. You might have 1.5 inches of topsoil on the ground, and then it is about 6 to 10 feet, 8 feet of nothing but bedrock, large boulders. So it doesn't make it an easy task for anyone to do anything and trying to make repairs and to keep up on your stuff. So anyway, everybody have a good day. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day today. Wife and I got a lot of stuff to do, and arrangements for my mother with new doctors so we could go see another cardiovascular doctor related to more blockages that have turned up in her legs and arteries. In which I am curious on how long ago this problem actually showed up in her exams. So we may have to call and ask about reviewing. I don't know, probably her last 4 scans. She has scans about once every 2 months. And they took her off of her medical treatment for cancer. She was supposed to be on a 12-month cycle for that, and they cut her off at 6 months, claiming that test studies have been done where maybe this medicine isn't needed for a full 12 months to try and contain the cancerous tumors. But that we don't know. And, we don't even trust doctors anymore for things that they have done to us and our family members, lied about, manipulated, and flat out refused to do or aid us in. Not counting where the feds have violated them. Any medical procedures that they have ordered for me in the last 3 years have all been blocked through the Deacon's Medical Center that are supposed to do the schedulings for these appointments, which is also quite hampering and very costly. Every action that they do and commit against my family is horrifically very costly, both time-wise, safety-wise, money-wise, to even that of our gravest concerns of other crimes that they're doing and committing against us. And when they can block and prevent any and every lawyer from representing us in any legal actions against the state and the U.S. government and other agencies that are partaking into these crimes, is really horrific, especially when you can see them all over our properties, especially when you can see military air drone assaults with radiation and other direct energy weapon beams peering down on our household, specifically where we're located in our homes, in which we are constantly subjected to 24 hours a day. If it ain't by them and the military drones, then it's by them in cars and everything else that are also harassing, stalking. A lot of people out there talk about average citizens stalking one thing or another. Now, I do know that they are using them in a lot of different ways against fucking people, but they are not stalkers. As other people have implied, they are theatrical actors. And that's pretty much it. But even in theatrical acting, that is virtually harmless, even though it is a form of harassment. What I've noticed is whenever they're using people like that to gain your attention, keep you distracted, then their other people, the actual agents or black ops people, let's say, are infiltrating you somewhere else. That's the only reason they do the distraction bullshit. To keep your attention while they can get in and or on your property or somewhere else on your property to vandalize your crap. Anyway, everybody have a good day. I got a lot to do. God bless you. Stay strong.